So it is very natural that if I want to drive a car, I should have a driving license, and driving license means I should know the rules of the road and skills of driving. Both are required. Now compare this to become a seeker. I should know the rules of the journey, means the principles, how to treat the path of self discovery. At the same time, I should have some skill sets. So if you don't have the skills, and so it leads to a lot of misunderstanding. And that here comes Stephen, I was waiting. So, so you see that skill sets, some of the skills in the mind, and we should know the principles to treat the path successfully. So these two elements must be present in the seeker. So last week, one women from New Jersey wrote to me that, do you think that delusion does not exist? No, depression does not exist, and I'm having a lot of depression because my mother died in UK. So I'm in grief. So if the delusion, if depression is the delusion and grief is a delusion, then I have a dryness in my intellect. I don't have any emotion. So why I should not have emotion? It is all wrong perception of the Eastern wisdom. We did not understand. So that is why it is very important to become a seeker. So in the very first session, we understood that it should live in the fourth state of the mind. The fourth subjective state of the mind makes you a seeker. So what is that fourth state of the mind? It does not accept what is coming from outside before it examines clearly through the intellect. In the second session, we also discussed about being a human being, becoming a human being. So I must have the right intellect to think. If I don't think so, then I'm carried away by emotions and the feeling, and I work like an animal being. Another important message our masters gave, that good work alone is not enough. Good work is very good. It is compulsory. But at the same time, it is not enough to succeed in meditation and awaken to the knowledge. So don't create an idea, okay, if the good work is not enough, so why should I do the good work? No. So the good work helps you to purify the mind. And ultimately, it makes you a seeker. And I don't know if the mind was inspired. We did also talk about evolved, evolving, and to be evolved. Then we discussed about four aids, four helpers: the teacher, the knowledge, uh, enthusiasm, the zeal, and the time. So some people get, majority of the people, I did the practice once and then I did not succeed. Teacher is not good. Practice is not good. How many practices you want? On speaker, I already have 2,000 practices. Do all the practices. So if you have done 2,000 practices and still you do not like it, you are crazy. You are not a seeker. How simple it is. Huh? So then we discussed last week about four connections. Now, if you contemplate and reflect, at least for a couple of weeks, you listen to it and allow the mind to settle into these six principles. That will help you to understand clearly our today's topic. So today's topic is moving within, living within. I always say that the entire Eastern wisdom is summarized by three phrases: moving within, living within, and awakening within. What is moving within? Now understand it here and now. So, the seventh topic, today's topic, is just to live here and now if you maintain that awareness and alertness. So, our mind at present is constantly working with inputs of five sense organs and their objects. It is a never ending process. The moment we wake up, the senses picks up the different objects lying in the room, even we don't have the thoughts, and it is constantly working, constantly working. Huh? Thoughts, feeling, emotions, they rise and they fall. Huh? You look at me, you have a different emotion, which you don't recognize. You look at your honey, you have a different emotion, feeling, different thought. Thoughts, feelings are there. Now the masters ask a question: can we move the focus? Remember, listen to it patiently. Can we move the focus of our thoughts away from the surface life? What is surface life? Outer life. The surface of life means senses and their objects constantly influence, dictate, guide, and regulate my life. You had differences yesterday with your honey, and today you woke up, you say good morning, but with something inside. You might have experienced that. It's not a big deal. Anyone. Huh? Anyone. It can happen when we are aware in living. So when we observe what mind is seeking from the world through the sense organs, when we observe the feeling in us, emotions that comes from the senses, this is what the surface living. Did you understand that? Surface living. The moment you wake up in the morning, the input of the five senses, then you have a thought, then you have a feeling, you have an emotion, and then we forget ourselves. We are living on the surface. So the people living on the surface cannot evolve, cannot progress on this path of meditation. It was David topic. David came late. So you see that input, surface living means the moment we wake up in the morning, we have the input of sense organs and their objects. It is a never ending process. It is the surface living. So what we should do? We put intellect over every thought, entertaining the mind from the senses, feelings, and emotions. It is the summary of previous six topics that we discussed. So the moment you wake up, and now you are aware how the world through the sense organs with their objects is putting the thoughts, feeling, and the sensations in your head. And if you are aware of that, you will start moving within. You are not living on the surface. The moment you live on the surface, there is bound to be differences. There is bound to be anxiety. There is bound to be duality. This mind, crazy mind, is chattering all the time. Look at this guy, what he is doing. So you are thinking in your mind. So it is, again, you are living on the surface. What I have to do? What I have to do? What the other guys are doing? Allow the intellect to put the intellect into service. No, I have to do nothing. What I have to do, I have to go to the kitchen and grab a cup of coffee. Yes, focus there. Why my honey has put this coffee, where she has done it. Oh, find it out, find it out. Surface living, you see that? Living on the surface, living within. Living on the surface, living within. It is one of the most important. It covers all the previous 6 topics. Look at this girl. What the hell you are, what the hell she, I have to do nothing with it. I have to do nothing. Disconnect. So living outside versus living within. Now let us make a little difference to make you understand. Mind receives the feeling, thoughts from the senses. Huh? Outside it is surface living. When we become aware, observe them, screen in the presence of an intellect, it is moving within, leaving the surface living. And that is what I have been doing in the very first 3 steps of every meditation. Being comfortable, being carefree, being casual. So once you get some idea that you are living on the surface, you are living within. You need not to do any posture and your body will become still. The moment your mind is living within, you instantly feel the steadiness, stillness, relaxation, calmness, quietness. It comes by regular practice that, am I living within? Yes. Done. Now, what is the first result of when you are living within or moving within is connecting with the calmness and quietness. It is never happens in case of surface living. Connecting with will enable you to have a deeper sense of what is unfolding around you at every moment in time. Are you getting it? Living within unfolds what is happening around you at every moment. You are not attached. You have disconnected. Disconnected means now you are living within. Connected means there is a surface living. Disconnected does not mean that you become dry. You are fully aware. From that inner poise, you will be far more in tune with others, with the environment. When I see you in dispassion, I am deeply connected to you, then I am connected to you with likes and dislikes, and these likes and dislikes causes the surface living, and our mind is hypnotized. It is mesmerized. Why? That is what we say. We have social conditioning, we have cultural conditioning, we have family conditioning, lot of conditioning, we have educational conditioning. Live beyond that. And that we can do it at every moment in our life. Now, what happens? What is the problem of living on the surface? So, when we live on the surface of life, we are too outer, reacting to everything around us that we don't recognize. It has become a new normal to our mind because we have not learned meditation. So, it has become a new normal every time we wake up. The mind is ready for reaction. You may say that it is not a reaction, but it has become a new normal to us. So when it becomes normal, we don't realize that it is a reaction. From such a poise, we are constantly reacting. Then being rooted, and if you are living within, rooted in calmness, then what happens? everything changes. When we live on the surface of life, our bodily ego is constantly asserting itself. Sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes Sam in the office, this guy is great. So your posture changes. These are subtle moments. No, it doesn't happen. I'm just saying. Our posture changes. Don't do that. So you are a seeker all the time. You're a seeker all the time. So our topic is moving within, not living on the surface. And that we can do even in the moment we wake up. Inner consciousness. Inner consciousness, then I realized that what this consciousness is, free from the sense organs and the objects. When you live within, means we also sometimes say you are living within, you feel very calm and peaceful. There is a stillness even when you are moving. You experience the stillness. When you live in deeper within, you are in tune with what is around you. When you live in within, there is a feeling of softness, and at its best, a feeling of sweetness, even of an inner bliss. When we live within, in the depth, we have a heightened sensitivity. We become more sensitive, not sentimental, not sensitive in a negative sense. So, sensitization of the mind can happen when I'm living within, no, not living on the surface. And then the empathy is natural. Then caring is natural. When you live within, a state of patience that envelops you, patience also comes. And that patience gives you a kind of steadiness that helps life point you in the right direction. Forget about all the principles. Just check yourself. Am I living on the surface? I'm constantly bombarded by the information from the senses, from the external world, and then I'm subjected, I'm influenced and dictated by it, or I am living within and become aware of the world around me. You will see that calmness, patience is always there in you. Even if you miss it, you will realize it. So now you have a new normal of living consciously all the time, whether you are at a workplace, in relationship, it's a totally a different way of living. That makes you a great seeker. When you are living within, there is an awareness of more of what is going on around you, more awareness of possibilities, more awareness of the truth, more subtleties, you are aware of it. So when you see that these yoga masters read the mind of others, it's not a big deal. You start living within. It may take a couple of months and you will know. You will know. But the moment you start demonstrating, then you are destroying yourself. You become a surveyor of the life around you, enabling a great knowledge, insight, wisdom at any moment. That is what I always say, just check it, differentiate, separate. Surface living, living within. Living within is moving within and living within. So, focus of the thought is inside, not outside. I can give you many examples. Oh, what a tease you are wearing. What I have to do with it? What I have to do with it? I have to do nothing with it. Example. What a pink cap Sam is wearing. I have to do nothing with it. Surface living. But now I'm living within and I'm aware of you all. You can say I step back and I'm aware of the world outside. So, what I'm doing, the mind that is scattered in millions of directions outside, I can gather that mind within, leaving that scattered. And that leaves you in patience and calm. It is a rise in awareness. It is a rise in awareness. Otherwise, if the mind is scattered in millions of directions outside, what happens? There is bound to be an attachment. There is bound to be a detachment. There is bound to be likes and dislikes. But when you are living within, you have a preference. Uh, Someone was asking me, so you don't have any preference for the food? I said there are 4 types of food is available. And I like one food, I will take that. But what I like, if it is not available, I have no preference. I will take whatever comes to me. I'm okay. Do you see that? That is how we understand. It is not that we get caught with the likes and dislikes, we get caught with the attachment and detachment. And when you start living within all the time, instead the surface, you become a great seeker. You become a great seeker. Even now, you are looking at me, focus inside. Check it. Is it possible? It is 100% possible. So it doesn't mean that if you keep a focus inside, you are not looking at me. Or you need to close your eyes. Or you need to shut off any sense organ. So what happens? We have one master explains, there is a bodily ego that takes a different stand because all the physical sense organs are present in the body. And you see that you stay calm. I'll like to try to translate what my master used to say in a poetic way. He used to say that, let me say in Hindi first, Mastaram masti mein, aag lage basti mein. So literal translation would be Mastaram masti mein. So the seeker enjoys his life being with himself. Seeker enjoys his life being with himself. Mastaram masti mein, aag lage basti mein. Let the world go to hell. That is the literal meaning. The world should not go to the hell. So what it means, that you are living within constantly. Living not on this surface. The moment you are living on the surface, your relationship and the idea of relationship, the thought of relationship, the thoughts of likes and dislikes, the pain and pleasure, the past memories, the regrets, the worries, the everything comes into the mind. And then we take it inside and we claim I lived loveless life for 27 years. Do you remember this phrase? I love this guy. Don't think that I'm criticizing him. I'm just explaining. Huh? You remember who lived loveless life for 27 years? Think of it. It is surface living. You may be a genius. You may be extremely intelligent. But what the master is pointing, that are you living on the surface or you are living within? When you are living within, there may be a very rare, exceptional chances, exceptional chances of reacting, being anxious, because that patience and the calm is constantly working. Because the moment you go inside, you connect with the higher consciousness. And it includes all the previous 6 topics that we discussed. That is what we say the focus, that is what we say the enthusiasm. It is not excitement. The energy, the mind, the awareness, all are working within. It is not being wasted in attachment, in likes and dislikes. One of the most enduring principles. With that idea, with that understanding, if you are doing the practice, it takes you to the great heights. So think of